Well, it's been a hard work day today. Been a long day. Denise is actually inside uploading yesterday's video, which normally would have been done earlier, but is running a little bit behind because there's been a lot of nuts all over this yard, and we've had to rake them up and clean them up, and I've got a full-time job, and Denise has been working on photos and videos and cleaning up nuts, and it's just been, as usual, extremely busy. With the nuts being one extra variation of work that we only have to do in the fall. In any case, as I was working today at my job, it occurred to me that sometimes for our clients, we've actually had to travel on location to shoot portraits. So sometimes executive portraits, sometimes family portraits, and we don't necessarily do those in a studio. So the question comes up, do you need a studio? And we're going to try to answer that question tonight. The main thing, if you have a studio, that's fabulous. That's great. But what if you only have a terrible old shed? Well, let's take a look at one terrible old shed. So I'm walking around the corner here, and you can kind of see it emerging. There is what I would consider a terrible old shed. Now, this shed actually was a not quite one-car garage at one point, and at some point many years ago before we owned it, it had a couple of interactions with cars that didn't really go its way, and the thing almost fell down, and you can kind of see probably the roof line is a little wavy and whatnot. We came to the conclusion after much thought that we would try to save it. But it was a close one because it's not a very good building. However, it's very old. It's original to this property, and we thought, well, what the heck? Let's try to make something out of it instead of tearing it down. So I rebuilt some cottage doors using an old-fashioned method. We put new siding on it. We tore the entire roof off the structure. We used a tractor to pull the building straight-ish, and here we are. Can we use it to create some portraits? Well, stick around. You'll find out.
So, we're going to be doing our October challenge today in our old crappy shed with our sports car that needs a lot of work. So we are going to be using a Speedlite and remote triggers, and hopefully we'll come up with something interesting.
Go ahead and take your photo.
Take my photo, okay.
Move it off.
Nope. Stay right there. Oh, this is so cool. So I'm doing this at 1/250th of a second because it's the maximum flash sync speed for the flashes. And I have it at 5.6 aperture and 100 ISO. Okay, I think you're done. I think this lens is amazing. It's really good. Yeah. So, off-camera flash seems really intimidating to people. It did for me at first, but once you get used to it, it's not really a big deal, and it just gives you such beautiful images.
Okay, here we go. So, smile.
You want me to smile?
Yeah, this time. Now look a little like crazy. And let's see. Well, that's a nice picture. Those are really good. Maybe get a little more under the hood of the car a little bit. Let me lower this down just a little bit.
Do you want me to put my arm down? I mean, my foot down and do it?
No, that's fine. Like Popeye?
Like Popeye, I don't know how that looks.
Well, I think those are going to be winners. Okay, Popeye again. Popeye the Sailor Girl.
What's that?
All right, so as usual for the month of October, I'm using my 1D Mark IV, and I've got the 16 to 35 millimeter f4 lens on, which, while not a portrait lens, it's not bad for environmental portraits, which technically were what we were shooting tonight. One differentiating factor about this camera compared to most other cameras is that the flash sync speed on the 1D Mark IV is actually 1/300th of a second. Now, most cameras are 1/200th of a second. Denise's was 1/250th of a second, and again, 1/300th of a second for the 1D Mark IV, which is really a useful flash sync speed. That really helps you with even lower power flashes, say overcome the sun if you're shooting outside, but it gives you a lot more flexibility when you're shooting portraits or other things. So I think that the shots, at least on the back of the camera, looked pretty good. So I'm looking forward to getting them in editing and seeing how they turned out. So I'm here with Denise the Grease Monkey. And actually, she is the person who does a lot of the mechanical repairs. What happens if something breaks around here?
I fix it.
What do I want to do with it?
You want to throw it in the garbage and go buy new? New?
I don't have as much patience.
Nope, you don't. Not at all.
So that's our episode for the vlog tonight. And as usual, it's getting kind of late. It's really dark out now, but if you don't have a studio, you can kind of make do even with a crappy old shed from 100 years ago that you had to straighten out by pulling it straight with a tractor because somebody crashed into it a couple times with a car before you bought it.
Yep.
So what should people do, dear?
Please come back for the rest of our October photo challenges. Like, subscribe, and comment.
Thanks, and see ya.
Bye.